All right. Hello, what's up, everybody? This is Ivan from the Bed Band, coming at you with episode 2 of the Bed Band review. Last week we talked about the Bed Band's first album, Adventure. This week we are going complete opposite. We're doing the Bed Band's most recent album, Songs of the Bed Band. This was released in June of this year, 2022. And right now you can see up on the screen, this is the album cover. The album's currently out. It's only out digitally, streaming services and YouTube. I'll probably make a cassette soon. But I did break my ankle right as I was finishing this album, which I'll talk about more later. But that really kind of sidelined a lot of promotion, music videos, and physical media production. Anyway, so here's a little bit of the music video from the first song, Nothing Is Magic Anymore. This song to me is really Pink Floyd-y, and the whole album to me kind of has that classic rock, but kind of 70s, like more easygoing acoustic rock with guitar solos, if that makes sense. That's kind of the theme of the album. My physical therapist, after I had my broken ankle, he listened to it and he said, hey, it really reminds me of the Kinks. And I was so excited because I love the Kinks. This definitely is right up the Kinks alley, this album. And it was one of the first times someone actually said, hey, your music reminds me of something. And they were actually like close. I get a lot of people saying, hey, your music sounds like this. And I'm like, I don't like that. You could definitely say this is my Kinks album. Very songwriter-y album with really cool guitar parts. I did pause on this album to get better at guitar during COVID. I bought a couple new guitars to help inspire me, and I was just going crazy playing guitar like 10 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. This album was recorded in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is where I'm living now. If you watched the last episode, you know Bed Band was started in Detroit, Michigan. But here's a beautiful picture of Santa Fe where I'm living, and the album was recorded. This is around the time when I began wearing all white, because I think it's really cool looking. And here is a very cool picture of the outside of my house that I was living in. I just moved a couple months ago, but during the recording of this album, this is the backyard. And right behind that bush, there's a window, and that was my little studio room where I recorded Songs of the Bed Band for the most part. The drums were recorded at my studio outside of home, but here's the inside of that room. It's a pretty cool setup, but I got my little computer, a couple speakers. You see my vocal mic there. I got my Korg Kronos insane synthesizer that's way more than I need, and then my Tascam Model 24, which is what I recorded all the basic tracks, the drums, the bass guitar, the scratch vocals, and those go into the computer where it's mixed and overdubbed more. You can see my couple guitars I used prominently on this album, the Fender Stratocaster and the Greco Les Paul Custom there, and the amp you're seeing is the Vox, I think it's called the Mini Super Beetle or the Super Mini Beetle, but it's supposed to be like a Beatles tribute amp, and I kind of love that amp. I used it a lot on that record and on my Beatles record. And here's another photo, nighttime version of the same studio. Oh, but it's hard to tell that I think this guitar in this photo is actually my Fender Vintera Stratocaster. little different than the one in the last picture that I also used a lot on this album, that I like a lot. And here's the other side of the room. That's my Epiphone acoustic guitar that I used a lot on this album and my Beatles album, and my big Bedband banner. This room was kind of small, but it had a skylight and a window, but it got really hot. That was the only downside about this room, was like in the summer it just got so hot. The rest of the house would stay decently cool, but that room was just like a mess. And then it was small, so it was cramped. You could barely move, but I had some good times. I recorded some good music in there. Here's a close-up of that Strat that I bought during COVID. It's a 1989 Fender American Vintage reissue of a 1962 Stratocaster in Olympic white, which has been just really beat up and worn and faded. I replaced the pickguard to a mint green. It was white when I bought it. This guitar is awesome, and it's hard to totally tell from the pictures, but up close it looks like a 1960s guitar. Just the finish checking, the natural relicing on it. It's really cool, and I used it a lot. And then here's that Greco Les Paul Custom. This thing has some messed up binding, but it sounds great. It has great pickups. It's all beat up. It's from 1977. And here's a little bit of me, just another picture of me with it. It's a cool guitar. And here's the bass I used on the album, my 2009 Fender Roadworn jazz bass. The guy I bought this from has messaged me a couple times saying, hey, can I buy that bass back from you? So I might sell it back to him. It's cool, but whatever. And here's me playing it in that little studio. And now, boom, here we go. I switched studios during the pandemic. My Beatles album was recorded in the drums in one studio. Then we got kicked out of that place, and I was able to join this kind of like long-running epic DIY space in Santa Fe called Ghost. It's also a venue, but it's a practice space. And I also inherited / bought these drums from a friend of mine, Mark, who used to play in the Bedband with us. These were the house drums for our old practice space. It's a legendary Santa Fe drum kit, and I love this kit. It's old and beat up and everything, but great stuff. And here's a little photo of like me setting up to record drums. There's the Tascam multi-track recorder right there, and the drums, blah blah blah. So yeah, here's me playing more drums. It's just a great space. You can be as loud as you want. Grateful to have that space. Here's a little bit of the music video from Soda Cream Fizz, one of my favorite songs on the album, with super epic guitar solos. If you like guitar solos, please go check out Soda Cream Fizz. It's a long, weird, cool song. Here's a little bit of the outside of Ghost. I just think that's a cool picture. Bass amp, just basic Fender Rumble, whatever those are called. Here's me doing some promo photos and more of my magical backyard from my old house. We had really cool trees and just a nice backyard space. I do miss that backyard, but I don't miss certain things about that house, including certain things. And then here's me. It was taking lots of walks in my neighborhood around this time. Great little neighborhood place. Here's the music video for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. One of my favorite songs off the album as well. Great guitar solos here. And yeah, I think I mentioned this is my guitar album. Every song has at least one guitar solo. Some of them have 4 or 5 or something like that. And it's something I'm really proud of. I'd kind of been sparing with my guitar solos and had been focusing on songwriting for many years over practicing guitar. So this album really saw me in a better guitar shred place. And I'm grateful for that. The album is 15 songs, 50 minutes, 41 seconds, a little longer than my typical albums I've been releasing the last several years. It's kind of, in a strange way, it's like a rebirth for the bedband. And what I mean by that is, for a long time, bedband songs were very incredibly lo-fi, super poor mixing, very demo quality, home demo. That's what I was going for. I liked it. I still like it, but I kind of felt like I had passed that phase. I'd done about 10 or 12 albums in that style of just degradingly lo-fi demos. And all those albums, I had used a Pocket Operator drum machine from Teenage Engineering. It's tiny, you use your thumbs, little buttons, and I was just finger drumming electronic drums. This album has real drums, and it has me playing real drums. The Beatles album I did a year before this also had me playing drums. So that was the first bedband album with me playing a physical drum set. The album before that, we had real drums, but it was my friend Mark playing. I think I played the drums on one track on that album, but this is really a return to form, where I'm playing all the instruments. I'm playing my little sloppy, weird drums that I love, but probably most people don't get. And I'm also just in the process during this album of getting better at mixing, and taking more liberties with guitar parts and just having a little more experience under my belt. It's not a perfect album. It's not the best professional mixes, but compared to old bedband projects, it's definitely a huge step up in the right direction. The next album I'm working on for the bedband, you're gonna love. I got a professional Grammy-winning mixer who's mixing and producing with me. It's gonna sound a billion times better. But this is big stuff for the bedband. This is a big step forward. Some of my favorite songs I've ever written are on here. I'm gonna say, Nothing's Magic Anymore, Under the Park, Soda Cream Fizz, Don't Push Your Luck, Hope for the Best, Only the Lonely, Sophisticated Taste. These are all standout songs. And yeah, like I said, the legacy of this album is kind of that Kinks 70s jangle rock, if that makes sense. And then, like I mentioned, I broke my ankle. I went on a vacation to Sedona, Arizona to record a bunch of music videos because I was finishing up this album. And the first day there, I broke my ankle. And it was an awful experience. And it really kind of put a damper on me trying to promote or do anything with this album after finishing it. But I'm back. I'm walking. I'm recovered. I'm ready to push this album. It really has some really spectacular guitar moments, and it's cool. I did take longer to record this album than I typically do, not just because I stopped to finish my Beatles album, but because I really I kept mixing and remixing and overdubbing and doing versions of songs, and I was feeling crazy by the end of the mixing process. It's not my thing to sit in front of a computer and mix, but I did it. yeah, so another thing about this album, I kind of mentioned earlier that the Bed Band album before this, We Are the Bed Band, I had a live band, and we were recording the album as a live band, kind of. So there is like a bittersweetness to this album in the sense that the band kind of split up. Somebody moved, blah blah blah. So I was feeling a little lonely about not having a band, but also feeling invigorated to like go back to my old way of recording, so like alone, doing everything, and just really getting in that Bed Band spirit. And yeah, I can't think of too much else to talk about this album. I mean, you should go listen to it. Check out some of the guitar solos. And really just, dig into it. Tell me if you like it. Comment. Follow. Like this video. Go to thebedband.org. And you can also find it on thebedband.bandcamp.com. Yeah, I hope you like it. Peace, love, Bed Band. Alright, everybody, I'm back really quick. So to wrap this up, to get real with everyone, this album was really hard to make. I did it by myself. I did mention that I was furloughed for 3 months from my job, but this album took 2 years of recording, and during those 2 years, other than those 3 months I was furloughed, I was working full-time schedule as a manager, managing people. It's hard, it's emotionally stressful, my house flooded during this album. I had to live in a hotel for 2 or 3 weeks. I broke my ankle at the end of this album. Nobody gave a fuck when I released this album, which is normal, but I was really hoping for something different this time. It was really stressful working on this album, working full-time, trying to also have time for leisurely activities, which wasn't happening much, trying to practice guitar and get better at guitar, just mixing relentlessly, staying up late, getting up early and doing stuff before work. It was insane. It was a crazy ass album to work on. And the whole point of me going into these details is don't give up, keep going. If you love what you do, just do it. The Bed Band it's about the process. Right now, not a ton of people know about the Bed Band. Not a ton of people listen to the Bed Band, and that's fine because I do this music because I love writing songs. I love recording music. I love trying to emulate sounds that I hear on other recordings. I love writing songs in the style of songwriters that I love and admire. I love, just the process of recording and then hearing the recording. It's just what I'm meant to do. If no one ever listens to the Bed Band, I'm still going to be doing the Bed Band. So let this album be a lesson. Don't give up. Keep going. It's only going to get better and better. Don't let anything stop you. There were so many moments I could have taken my house flooding, a broken ankle, a bunch of other stuff that happened as a sign to just stop making this album or whatever. And no. We are making records every year. The Bed Band never stops because I love the Bed Band. I love the Bed Band songs. And this is what I'm dedicated to. This is my passion. This is what I've devoted to. You can find the same thing. You can find your passion. It doesn't matter if people recognize you or not. That's not what it's about. It's about the process. It's about the recording. It's about doing the work, putting the work in, enjoying yourself, being proud of what you made, etc., etc., etc. So, with that being said, have a good day and check out all my links. Go to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, thebedband.org, thebedband.bandcamp.com, all that stuff. Check me out. Find your favorite Bedband song. Comment your favorite Bedband song from this album here if you want to. The album's free. Go listen to it. Streaming everywhere. You know, for God's sakes. Thanks.